All right, so self-care is a mindful daily practice. How about that? And it really needs to be done to encompass all aspects of our health, our mental, our physical, our emotional, spiritual, and social aspects of life. When we take steps to care for ourselves in all these aspects, it can really help us deal with the stresses that come along with our life on a daily basis. But a lot of women don't see self-care as a priority because they are so busy with all the other aspects of their life. And they might see it as like a luxury, something that they'd get to once they've gotten everything else under control. But it's actually the opposite. It needs to be a priority. It needs to be stressed, and it does need to be incorporated in along with everything else that's going on with your life, because it can really help with the prevention of developing diseases or illnesses. And so what if we tried to make self-care a luxury and a priority, something as important as everything else that you schedule on your calendar? So you can actually put yourself into your calendar on a daily or weekly or bi-weekly or monthly. Hopefully it's more than sooner than monthly, but time that works for you to incorporate this care into your life. The longer you do it, as with anything else, it can become a habit, and you can start to balance your health and well-being into your daily routine. So we're going to talk about each area of our lives and how we can. I know we have talked about it a lot in all the other weeks, but we're going to address it today because that's what we're talking about. So the physical aspect of your life. Physically, I think the biggest one, or two big ones, are diet and exercise. So what about diet and nourishment? How can you maintain or maybe improve what you're already doing now? Hopefully you've already started making some steps as far as your diet and nourishment, but just, take a pause and try to really focus on, how are you eating? Are you cooking each meal every day at home? Or is it more often that you're stopping somewhere and getting takeout on your way home from work just because you don't have time to cook? Or maybe going out to eat, again, because there's not enough time to cook. But I don't think I have to tell you which is the better option. Do I? I don't think so. Preparing your own meals would be the better way to go. You know what's in them. And you can make leftovers to make it easier for yourself. And then the next important part of your physical body is exercise. So exercise is so important. As we talked about in the first week's module, exercise can help with so many things: your energy, your stress, your health, your metabolism. When we exercise, we're increasing our circulation, so all the nutrients and cells and hormones and everything in our cells and body are carried to us and our organs through our blood. So we exercise, we increase that circulation so we can nourish our bodies with the beneficial nutrients that it needs from eating that healthful diet that we discussed. So, this is some place where you need to assess where you are as far as your exercise go, and probably you might need to make some adjustments or improvements. Now, where are you? Are you exercising yet? I know it's a hard one to get started on if you haven't been exercising, but since we're talking about it today and you're in this class and you want to improve on your self-care, today might be the day where you would want to start doing some exercise. And we have been talking about how you listen to your body, go inward and ask and listen to what your body's telling you it needs as far as the exercise goes. You can start out in small steps, small increments, just to get yourself moving, even if it's lifting a couple of cans of beans or something, and doing some arm weights. Get that heart pumping and your blood circulating, marching in place, doing what you can, and maybe each day or every other day, try to improve on that and go a little bit further or do a little bit something extra. Also, if you're already have been exercising, but you start noticing that, hey, wait, I am exercising, but my body's just not, it's still changing. I'm still getting a pudgy middle. It's not seeming to work as well as it used to. And guess what? That's because you are changing too. Not only your mind is changing, your body is completely changing too. So you've got to, again, listen to it and what it needs. Do what your body's telling you to. You might need to change up your exercise routine. Maybe if you're working out with your husband or something, you can't keep up with him. You're two totally different people. Or even if you're working out with your young adult son or daughter, they have so much more energy than you. You aren't the same person as they are or that you used to be. So allow that and allow yourself to listen to what it needs. Maybe try something else, like something more gentle, like yoga or stretching, or getting in the routine of a daily walk outside, whatever it is that your body's telling you to do. And if you haven't been exercising because maybe you've had pain, or you just don't feel like you're as energetic, or you just can't find the energy to do it, just make sure you don't hurt yourself by starting something new. Check with your doctor or work with a physical, athletic trainer, or maybe both, just so you know that you're starting with some instruction and so you don't get hurt. The important thing is to start and keep it going. That is the real important thing. You can't just exercise once a week. It does need to be, again, a daily mindful practice, right? So the next aspect of your health would be the emotional health, which we have talked about quite a bit this week and in the previous weeks. But we can start practicing the emotional doing rather than the emotional being. So we don't have to be our emotions. We can just do them and let them go. That's so exciting. And then, you need to make this an ongoing practice. There are so many, like, again, I've talked about the limiting self-beliefs and thoughts that we have formed as a young child. Many of those, we may need to incorporate that forgiveness practice that we talked about last week throughout our emotional healing and health. Or if you feel like you are way stressed or way too depressed, you may need to find some professional guidance. So please get help as you feel is needed. And then you can always go back and look at the first module where we talked about all the different types of activities you can do to help you through this emotional process. And then mentally, we need to keep our mind sharp, because if you're anything like me or a lot of other people, we've got that brain fog. We've got we're not as clear thinking as we used to be, but we want to keep our mind sharp. want to keep them active and with doing positive activities, like maybe allowing your creativity to show through, taking up painting or drawing or coloring, or a new hobby of something that you used to like doing and kind of put it on the back burner because, obviously we're really busy and who has time for relaxation? But taking up a hobby or doing something that has been intriguing you that you want to start, maybe learning a new language or learning how to, play a new instrument, something that positively affects you and your mental capacities. And then spiritually, we want to take care of ourselves spiritually. This doesn't necessarily mean take up a new religion or anything. You can be spiritual, you can be religious. And if you are following a religious practice, then committing to that and making those weekly trips to the church services or taking time for that, because that is an important part of your life. Or if you're spiritual, taking a time for that through meditation or prayer or journaling or whatever it is that you do. It's something that you find a deeper or more meaningful connection to the universe or the spiritual guidance that you choose, because that can really help with your inner guidance and your inner peace. And then last, but definitely not least, is something that's been talked about quite often in the recent articles or news that I have seen, is how important social connection and community is. So this is maybe the thing that I said, maybe you can start thinking about the places where you might need to limit or disconnect yourself from, and that is meaning social media. So many of us spend so much useless time on social media. It's such a time suck, and it's not really serving us. So try to disconnect from your phone or your computer or the news or just watching mindless TV, and making a point of making a connection with the people who you love, who nurture you and who you nurture, your family, your friends, your maybe your parents or your brother and sister. If they serve you, you need to spend time with these people that help support you and encourage you and make you feel loved and happy and that you enjoy being with. That is what really, truly nourishes you and your soul. And use this time to realize the people who really don't add anything to your lives, that are bombarding you with negativity or their dramas that you really don't have time for, really. And, allow yourself to step away and just be with the ones who you love, because that is what is so important for your nourishment in order to flourish into the rest of your life. And now, sometimes you might have a group phone call with all your maybe college or high school girlfriends or something on Zoom. Yeah, that is fine. Or you want to just pick up the phone and call one of your best friends who lives far away. That's totally fine too. It's just the constant seeing what's on, who's doing what on Facebook or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. That really doesn't really help or serve you. Now, I know we have talked a lot about self-love, self-care, self-acceptance, self-worth, and self-esteem. And I have a little exercise that's however interactive we can be on the video, but I'm going to share that next up. So we'll see you soon.